Good afternoon, aspirants. Welcome to Chandra IAS Academy. My name is Gowtham. I am faculty for Political Science and International Relations for students who are preparing for civil services examination. My association with Political Science and International Relations was both as an aspirant as well as a faculty. My optional when I took the civil service examination was PSIR, and I had been to the interview in 2004 and 2007. And since then, I've been associated as a faculty for Political Science and International Relations. My rich experience with Political Science and International Relations, spanning over 2 decades, had helped me gain insights into the discipline and also gave me the opportunity of guiding a lot of students to clear this examination. Today, we'll try and just have a small understanding about a very fascinating political thinker, Karl Marx. Karl Marx is fascinating on many counts. He's fascinating because he, for the first time, charted a new course for political science. He made the world, or rather, he compelled the world to look at the reality from a completely different perspective. Karl Marx is fascinating also because Karl Marx, for the first time, tried to provide a very cogent criticism of capitalism. He was the very first thinker who came out with a very scientific and a very searching criticism of capitalism. Till the time Karl Marx arrived on scene in political science, capitalism was considered as the best way to organize production, the best and the most just way of distribution. However, Karl Marx questioned the very fundamentals of capitalism. That's the second reason as to why Karl Marx is considered as a very fascinating thinker. Thirdly, Karl Marx is also considered as a fascinating thinker because Karl Marx questioned everything that was a part of mainstream logic. Religion, values, democracy, or the assumption that only those who are more capable will be able to rise to the top of society and enjoy privileges. All such fundamental assumptions of social life were questioned by Karl Marx. It is for this reason that Karl Marx is considered as a very fascinating thinker. Please remember that Karl Marx was a German Jew. So Karl Marx had a Rabbi ancestry. His ancestors were rabbis, from whom probably Karl Marx inherited the culture and the tradition of intellectual rebellion. Karl Marx rebelled against everything that was mainstream logic and which was approved and accepted as a matter of social norm and culture. All these things were questioned by Karl Marx. Today, we'll try and understand what is Karl Marx actually up to. What is his fundamental thought? Now, when Karl Marx was asked once in a public meeting that he should try and explain Christianity in one sentence, Karl Marx came out with a very simple sentence saying that Christianity means nothing more than just a small phrase. Christianity, according to Karl Marx, was love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor here means love the person who has lost his way and through love put him on the right track. That's the very essence of Christianity, according to Karl Marx. When Karl Marx was asked in the same vein to explain communism, Karl Marx set forth on the task and he replied saying that every man should live, and to live every man should eat, to eat every man should work, to work man requires some tools of production, the means of production which will enable him to work. Man requires land on which he can invest his labor and bring out some produce. But if these means of production are controlled by a section of society, a relationship of dependence of one man on another will begin. And from this dependence, exploitation will ensue. And Karl Marx believed that this exploitation is artificially induced. And this exploitation is universal. In every society where the means of production are controlled by a section of society, a relationship of dependence of one on another takes place. And from this dependence, exploitation will begin. And for Karl Marx, exploitation of man by man should end. And the only way that an end to this exploitation can ensue is by heralding a communist society. Communist society. Now, for Karl Marx, communism or communist society represents the final form of human social evolution. Men evolve socially from primitive beings who lived in a society that was primarily engaged in gathering food, hunting, fishing, to a very highly complex post-industrial society in which production is large scale, production is based on machines, production is based on huge assembly lines, and production which is now have a distribution cycle which spans across continents. We are living in a globalized world and production is globalized today. A very highly sophisticated, high-tech, heavy machine production with global networks and global chains of supply is what we have today. So societies have evolved from very simple food gathering society, we have evolved into a very complex post-industrial society. Now this journey, according to Karl Marx, has also a future, and the journey will continue. The journey will continue ultimately to culminate in the formation of what Karl Marx calls a communist society. Now Karl Marx is only trying to set the individuals on the path of realizing an ideal society, the best society, the final form of human social evolution, beyond which there will be no further social evolution because the society will have rid itself of all contradictions. This is the kind of society that Karl Marx is envisioning in the future. Now, all the things that we spoke about just now seem very complicated. All the things that we have just spoken about Karl Marx seem very complicated, primarily because the kind of ideas which Karl Marx had proposed are actually very complicated. Karl Marx proposes concepts like dialectical materialism or dialectical historicism. And Karl Marx also proposes a series of economic theories like surplus value, or the theory of alienation, or the theories of capitalist laws of wages. A lot of theories are proposed by Karl Marx, economic theories, social theories, to help us try and understand the reality. However, though Karl Marx calls his brand of communism as scientific socialism, by claiming that his brand of socialism is scientific in its approach, it has not constructed the reality through imagination. It has constructed reality through the historical evolution of how the societies have historically evolved. Based on that, we are trying to construct the societies and understand the societies, interpret the societies. And through this, we are trying to predict the future of this social evolution. Therefore, Karl Marx calls his theory of socialism as scientific socialism. But you know that whatever Karl Marx had predicted for the world had not come true. And you also know that Karl Marx is sometimes described as a god that failed, primarily because Karl Marx had predicted a future which did not come through, which did not ensue. And that's the reason why a lot of people believe that Karl Marx is dead. Long live communism. And a lot of people also argue that communism in today's world has no relevance. Now, as aspirants for civil services, preparing for political science and international relations, understanding Karl Marx is very important. It is very important primarily because every aspect of your syllabus in political science carries imprints of Marxist thought, whether you're studying rights or whether you're studying the concept of equality, whether you're studying the evolution of modern nation state in international relations, whether you're trying to study approaches to international relations, whether you are studying theories of democracy. In every segment of syllabus in political science, you see the imprints of Marxist thought. And that's the reason why understanding Karl Marx, understanding Marxism as an ideology is very, very important. So, we just got started with Karl Marx. We're just trying to understand what Karl Marx is trying to tell us. How Karl Marx is seeing the reality. Now, Karl Marx begins first by posing certain fundamental questions. First, whether the values that we all hold very close to our heart and all the assumptions that we make about societies, about democracy, whether all these are an outcome of true consciousness or false consciousness. Whether our understanding of the world around us is an outcome of true consciousness or false consciousness. Now, Karl Marx begins to argue that the values that we all have till now held very close to our heart are an outcome of individuals' false consciousness. Now, that was a very, very bold statement for Karl Marx to make. I told you, Karl Marx is a very special thinker, primarily because he has no qualms and absolutely no hesitation to even declare that whatever we all believe today in is an outcome of false consciousness. It is not the truth, or it is not an outcome of the true consciousness. We love our country. We are all patriotic. We all hold in high esteem our national flag, national anthem. We all hold in very high esteem all the national symbols. We respect them, we honor them. But Karl Marx says that whether your idea of patriotism, is it an outcome of your true understanding of reality, or is it just an imposition on your mind? Or is it just an image which is constructed in your mind? Is it true consciousness or false consciousness? Now, Karl Marx argues that your love for your motherland is an outcome of false consciousness. Here, Karl Marx is questioning the very values that we all hold very close to our heart. That's the reason why I said Karl Marx is very fascinating. First, another very important question that Karl Marx poses before us is whether the education that we are pursuing is giving us the true knowledge or not, or whether the education that we pursue today is only for the purpose of instilling certain values and certain opinions in our mind which make us supporters, actively or passively, of an exploitative economic system called capitalism. Now, Karl Marx says that the kind of education that we are all exposed to is not allowing us to truly understand who we are. The kind of education that we are exposed to is not giving us the path to the truth. It is not allowing us to realize the true consciousness. You know, the purpose of education gets narrowed and narrowed. For a good number of people today, education is a path for us to realize a good job. The purpose of education is not to realize the truth, but to realize a good job. The purpose of education, therefore, had narrowed down. And that's the reason why Karl Marx questions whether the purpose of education is the right purpose or not. So he's questioning us, the very educational system that we all have been a part of for so many centuries together. He compels us to think that the educational system has lost its purpose. Another very pertinent question that was posed by Karl Marx: whether the work that you are engaging in, your employment, whether it is giving you the right satisfaction or not, whether the work is allowing you to realize your best self or not. According to Karl Marx, there are many ways through which individuals express themselves. Individuals express themselves through words, individuals express themselves through their deeds, individuals express themselves through their art, through their writings, through their utterances. There are a lot of ways through which individuals express themselves, but the truest form of one's expression is through his work. Through his work, individual reveals himself. Through his work, the individual truly expresses himself, his dedication, his sense of perfection, his sense of beauty, aesthetics, his sense of discipline and commitment. Everything that what an individual is made up of is reflected in his labor, in his work. Therefore, work is a pathway to one's self-realization. If work is so important, and what you do and how you do your work is so important, then the truest form of an individual's expression is only through his work. Work should give, therefore, individuals a sense of self-identity, a sense of self-realization, a sense of self-fulfillment. But what has work degenerated into today? Work is what we do to survive. So work, which should be a means for an individual to attain his perfection, to express himself, to render an identity to himself, had become a means of compulsion. This is what Karl Marx is all about. He is questioning the very fundamentals as to why individuals work. Work had become a means to live, but not to lead a fulfilling life. That's what Karl Marx is saying. Karl Marx is questioning our religion. Karl Marx says, are we all sure that the gods that you believe in, that the religion that you follow, the customs, conventions, the rituals, all the traditions that are part of your religious belief system, are they all an outcome of the true consciousness? Karl Marx says absolutely not. Karl Marx says that religion is the sigh of a wretched creature, a helpless creature. Religion induces a false sense of comfort with a hope for an afterlife, which makes individual forget the exploitative present and the exploitative reality. Religion, according to Karl Marx, acts like a smoke screen to hide the true basis of exploitation. Religion, according to Karl Marx, is intoxication. Religion is the opium of masses. So Karl Marx here is questioning our fundamental beliefs, the gods that we worship, the religions that we have accepted and followed, and with a lot of zest and emotion protected. It is these that Karl Marx is questioning. Karl Marx is questioning whether the sense of freedom that you have, is it true freedom or not? Are we truly free? Are we free from the fear of insecurity? Are we free from the fear of loss of livelihood? Are we free from oppressive governments? Are we free from intoxicating religions and their beliefs? Are we truly free? What is true freedom? How do you realize true freedom? It is these very fundamental questions that Karl Marx is posing to us. It is through these questions that Karl Marx is compelling us to look at reality from a completely different perspective. Karl Marx, as I told you, is a fascinating political thinker, primarily because of the reason that he wants us to see another side of reality. This is the most fascinating thing about Karl Marx. There are a lot of other very fascinating thinkers like Machiavelli, John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, were all a part of the syllabus in political science and international relations. One thing that I'd like to tell to the students who are contemplating on political science and international relations, that is this: there is nothing in political science that you cannot understand once you approach it the right way. The thinker can sound very complicated, the thinker can sound very simple and very clear, crystal clear. It's in the way you approach the thinker. When we discussed Karl Marx, when we started speaking about Karl Marx sounded very unfamiliar and very complicated. But as you keep progressing day after day, studying about Karl Marx reveals himself in a very crystal clear manner. All the concepts, all the theories, all the principles that Karl Marx proposes, all fall in place once when you look at Karl Marx in the right way you should approach him. So please don't worry about the thinkers in political science. Probably political thought is one of the easiest segments in political science, because once you understand political thought, there is nothing for you there to forget. Once you understand the logic of every thinker, there is nothing there for you to memorize. It is very easy. The only thing that you have to do is look at the drift of the question, apply the knowledge that you have gathered about the thinker, and address the question appropriately. That's it. It becomes so very easy. So for all those students who are thinking about political science and international relations, a small brief about Karl Marx is given here today so that you will know what is going to be the subject matter of political science. Political science has got a very rich and varied content. And think about political science as an optional for civil services. It contributes a lot to your understanding and value adds a lot to your preparation for general studies. A new batch for political science begins on the 15th of June 2026. So for all those who are interested in political science, you can come down to the institute, you can have a talk with me directly, and you can clear all your doubts about political science. My best wishes to you all, aspirants. Thank you so much.